Hello and welcome to budgeting. I'm Megan. Whether you're listening or watching this on YouTube, I'm excited to go over some budgeting basics with you as your resident millennial mortgage mom. Let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen and get on with our presentation. If you are listening to the podcast, this is going to be some great information, but definitely check this out on YouTube if you are listening and you want to watch it and get some tangible things you can do with your budget. So I want to uncork this. I'm the mortgage mom who whines, so let's get into it. Budgeting basics. So I'm going to start with step one. There's three main steps to creating a budget. If you haven't created a budget, everybody needs a budget, whether you make $15 an hour or $100 an hour, whether you are a seasoned investor or you are just starting out, if you're a teenager who just started their first job. Budgeting is essential. I'm a firm believer that it's only a dream until it's written down. Then it becomes a plan and we can make it a reality. So step one, we are going to track our expenses. So we're going to track and write down all of our expenses that you need or that you have and your income. So expenses and income for 30 days. Why 30 days? Because we need to see where money is going in and out for a full month. So we're not missing any expenses. You have to know how much income you have going in or out. You have to write down each and every expense. And if your income is variable, some of you might be saying, well, I'm an hourly employee and I work different hours every week. Or maybe, Megan, I'm a commissioned employee or I'm self-employed. My income changes all the time. I own a business. One month it's really good and some months it might be not so good. So what you want to do in this case, if your income is variable, you kind of want to do a conservative average. So maybe take into account your income over the last 3 to 6 months or even the last year, depending on your business, and kind of do a 12-month average. That way you can keep yourself on a budget that works for you. And of course, you're going to write down each and every expense, whether that is on a loose leaf sheet of paper, a spreadsheet. You don't have to make it fancy. Whatever it is, just write it down. You have to track what's going in and what's going out because you can't make a budget if you don't know. So how to track, like I said, a notebook, a spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be fancy. I still handwrite my budget on a loose leaf sheet of paper because I personally like to write it down. And then I do have a spreadsheet that has, all of my information on it, but I prefer to handwrite my budget. So that's just a personal preference. But so we're going to then, once we have this all tracked, we've tracked everything for 30 days. We know what's coming in. We know what's going out. We have a really, really good idea. And honestly, writing it down too really helps with realizing how much frivolous spending you might be doing. You might not realize you're just swiping that debit card or swiping that credit card, realizing how much you are really spending on going out to eat, or maybe you find a subscription that you forgot about and you forgot to cancel, right? So writing it down is so important. Once we have them all written down, step two is we are going to categorize them into what I call an ABC budget. So we're going to divide up all these expenses, and your A expenses are fixed expenses that you need, but you can do nothing about immediately. So this is going to be your mortgage, your rent, your car payment, student loans, your larger debts that you can't do anything about immediately. Obviously, we probably don't have $25,000, $30,000 laying around to pay off our car or our student loan, or our rent is obviously a fixed expense that we have to pay, right? That's a large expense. Those are your A expenses. You're going to write those down first. Then you're going to get to your B expenses. These are expenses that you need, but you can do something about. So we need car insurance, right? We need a cell phone. We need groceries. We need clothing. These are all needs. But can we do something about them? Can we cut them down and save a little bit? So maybe we're shopping around for cheaper insurance, or we're bundling. And we're now combining our renters or homeowners insurance with our car insurance and our life insurance. Will we get a better deal if we go all to the same company? Or cell phone, maybe we can go into T-Mobile or Verizon or whoever it is and see if there's a cheaper plan available. What can you cut out of your plan that you don't need? Where can we save a few dollars? Groceries. Yes, I'm well aware of inflation. I know groceries are expensive. I have 2 kids and a big family and all the things, and I know groceries are expensive. So what can we do to maybe meal plan and purchase in bulk, or just save a little bit on buying off brands? Can we tolerate off brands, or making sure we're only buying things when they're in season? Ways we can tweak our grocery budget. Um, there's different things we can do to minimize those expenses. Yes, I know we all have utilities, electric bill, gas bill, but can we do things around the house to save on those costs? Can we turn the thermostat down a degree? I know it seems really, really silly, but these are all little things that can add up. And really the B expenses are our needs. Then we're going to get into the C expenses, right? This is the third group of expenses, if you will. These are wants, not needs. And I'm a firm believer, you have to be honest with yourself. What is a want versus a need when doing a budget? These are wants, not needs. Your C expenses is everything else in your budget that is a want, not a need. It can be cut if we need it to be. So this is your cable TV, maybe your subscriptions, eating out. I know I'm very much a foodie and a millennial, and I like to eat out, and I get it, you guys. I'm not saying you can never eat out again. Dave Ramsey says you shouldn't see the inside of a restaurant if you still have debt. I don't believe that. We're human. And we still need to have fun. But this is why eating out should be a line item in your budget, right? If that's what you want to do. But maybe instead of going to coffee 3 days a week, maybe we just treat ourselves 1 day a week. Maybe when we go out to eat, I made a pact with my spouse years ago when we were saving for our first house and paying off debt. We still like to go out to eat, but we stopped ordering alcohol, which was almost half of our check. So we would go out to eat and we would share something, or we would just not order alcohol, and that saved a bunch of money, but we still had fun and still had the feeling of going out to eat. So there's little things that you can do with these C expenses to get creative. And checking the biggest thing, especially right now, I feel like everything is a subscription, right? Everything is a subscription. What do we need versus what we want with subscriptions? Can we cancel them? Can we share a subscription with somebody? Sharing Netflix logins or whatever it is. You really, really can get creative with this kind of stuff. And don't say, well, oh, it's only $2.99 a month. Well, if you say that, 10 times, that's almost $30 a month. And that kind of adds up. So I know personally, my subscriptions, this is a good lesson too. If certain credit cards, certain cell phone plans, all those have benefits. One of the benefits to my credit card is that I get a free Netflix subscription. I didn't know this for about a year, so I wasted $19.99 a month on Netflix for almost a year before I realized that it was included in my credit card. Like, I got a credit for that every single month. And my credit card also has several benefits. Like, I get TSA pre-check covered for me for every year. I get reimbursed for it, or every year, I'm sorry, every 5 years. So just make sure if you do have credit cards and you have all, any kind of anything, like I have T-Mobile, for example, there's several benefits that they give you. So maximizing those benefits, you may not have to cut these wants out. They may be included. And this isn't permanent, right? As you make more money, as you get your finances under control, maybe these C expenses are expenses we can add back in. But for now, when we're saving towards a huge financial goal, such as buying a house or starting to invest, maybe you're saving for a pool or a home renovation or whatever it is, you definitely want to get down to the nitty-gritty and see what you can cut. So we've tracked our expenses in and out. We've categorized our expenses into A, B, and C. And at this point, we've shopped around to see where we can cut this budget, right? Now, the third step is goals. You are going to write down your goals. The thing with goals is you have to be specific, be on the same page as your spouse or your partner. Definitely, if you share finances with anybody or you have a common goal in mind, if you're saving for a home together, you want to be on the same page as your partner. If they're spending money and you're saving money, not only is that going to cause a rift, but you're not going to reach your goals. Be disciplined with it. Understand this is temporary. It's not permanent. You should always permanently have a budget, but you should be able to add things back in as you go and as you get more disciplined with your money. The next one is huge. If you have a setback, don't give up. a bad 5 minutes or a bad day or something, finance, like life happens, right? You might need, if you're a homeowner or a renter, you might have to fix something in your house. It happens. Don't give up and just say, oh, well, screw it. Now my credit card's maxed out and I'm just going to give up and just forget it. That is the worst thing you can do. You want to make sure that you start with an emergency fund. I am not by any means bashing certain financial advisors, but there is a certain one out there that recommends $1,000 emergency fund. Personally, here in 2024 and beyond, I do not think $1,000 for an emergency fund is enough. I think you need at least $2,000. If you own a home or have larger expenses, you may want to have as much as $5,000 in a liquid emergency fund. That's step one to your budgeting and your saving too, with step one, because if you have a disaster or something happens, God forbid you get in a car accident or, and you have $1,000 deductible on your insurance. If you only have $1,000 saved, all of your money's gone. And that's what causes you to go on that hamster wheel of going back and racking up those credit cards and that sort of thing. So have that emergency fund saved before you start diving into everything. And if you have a setback, don't give up. Please don't give up. Just get back on the cart tomorrow. Things happen, life happens. We just have to get back up from it. Make your money work for you is a big one. I'm by no means a financial advisor. I'm just sharing what I know and what I've learned over the years. And things like right now, interest rates are really high. It's 2024 and rates are the highest they've been in over 20 years. And I can tell you, that's not good for buying a house right now, right? Your rate is going to be really high, but it is good for things like CDs, savings accounts, financial accounts. If you have a financial advisor, talk to them about how you can save to make your money work for you. Einstein said the eighth wonder of the world is compounding interest, and he was correct. If you have a high yield savings account, for example, I'll just give you a quick example. You put $25,000, and again, easy round number for math. I know not everybody has $25,000. I'm well aware, but just to put it into perspective, if you have a high yield savings account right now that's earning 4.3% interest, that's kind of the rate right now is 4.3. You have $25,000 in there. You're earning about just over $90 a month in interest, just for letting your money sit there. No strings attached. A high yield savings account, I think, is the best kept secret. And there's no catch. Your money's not locked in there. You can transfer it in and out. It works just like a regular savings account, but it has higher interest on it. So if you have money just parked in a bank account that's not earning interest, open a high yield savings account and let it earn interest for you. That extra $90 to $100 a month is going to add up. That can pay a bill, or then it's going to keep compounding and growing. I'm always a huge advocate as well for if you don't have a financial advisor, even if you're 18 years old and have your first job, start with a financial advisor. They will sit down with you and you share with them your goals, and they'll tell you exactly how much you need to save. They're going to do all these calculations for you and make you aware and educate you on what savings plans work best for you. Maybe it's a Roth IRA. Maybe it's a traditional IRA. Maybe it's the high yield savings account. Maybe it's a CD, a certificate of deposit. There's so many things out there that might work for you, but I will tell you, nobody's situation is the same. Everybody has a unique situation. So it's just really, really important that you meet with somebody and go over your financial goals and do what works best for you. What works best for me with saving may not work best for you. So part of setting goals to me is meeting with a financial advisor and really going over your plan and creating that plan. And they'll tell you exactly how much you need to save. Some people, it might be 10% of their income. For me, I save a little bit more than 10% of my income every month because I want to retire early. I don't want to work until I'm 65. So again, goals aren't just up here in your head. They have to be written down and discussed and thoughtfully written out and planned. Okay. So some best practices and tips that I wanted to share is don't underestimate the power of $10 here and $20 there. Put it in that high yield savings account, watch it grow. It adds up really fast. It does add up fast. And yes, it might take you a year and you're thinking, Megan, I can't save $20,000 in a year for a down payment on a house. That's okay. But maybe you can save $2,000 over the course of a year for earnest money and then utilize the down payment assistance program to help get you in that house and get your foot in the door and get in the game. Right? So we have to think differently about how we're saving and what we're saving for. Maybe you're saving for a family vacation house. Maybe you're saving for that big vacation. $10 a week, $20 a week is all going to add up. Be mindful of subscriptions. I already talked about this, but things designed to make you spend more. Just because there's a coupon or a credit card or an incentive doesn't mean you should spend it. Be aware of the interest rate on your credit cards, and I call it lighting money on fire. Be aware of these things. I talked about emergency fund first. Treat your savings like an expense. If you meet with that financial advisor and they're telling you you need to save $500 a month to retire at X age, and that's your goal is to travel and this sort of thing, that $500 a month savings that they're investing for you should be equally as important as your car payment, as your mortgage. That has to come first. We have to treat our savings like an expense. This is the big one. Don't invest blindly. Educate, educate, educate. Don't just take someone's word for it necessarily. You want to talk to somebody, get to know your advisor, who you know and trust. Advice is one thing, but educating yourself is another thing. So don't invest blindly. Know what you're getting yourself into. I think a lot of clients just, or a lot of people in general think they can just throw their money into crypto or something and get rich quick. There's no get rich quick. Are those stories where that happens? Yes. Is it the norm? No. So you shouldn't throw all your money into crypto if you don't understand crypto. Investing is no different than, in my opinion, it's just safer gambling, right? You have to know the risk and the reward, and these are all things that you are responsible for educating yourself on. Paying off high interest debt first. Making minimum payments on your credit cards are the enemy. I would find out personally, if I had credit card debt, the first thing I would do is look at my higher interest cards. Whatever ones have the highest interest rate, that's what I'm going to focus on paying off first. The minimum payment's $25. I'm going to pay every extra dollar I have, even if it's only $5 extra. I skipped coffee yesterday, so I'm going to put $5 extra towards my credit card. Don't underestimate the power of that, because interest adds up and it adds up fast. And that's something they never taught us in school. For example, my credit card bill, I pay it off in full every single month. But if you have $1,000 balance on your credit card that you don't pay in full, and it has a 22% interest rate, think about that. How much money is that being added to your credit card bill? 22% of 1,000. That's a lot of money, you guys. So pay attention to that. If you don't have the money, we're not spending the money, right? Know how much, when it comes to in regard to housing, I always tell my clients, and this goes for whether you're renting, owning, wanting to purchase a second home, investment, it doesn't matter. If you're in real estate at all, you need to know how much you're currently spending on housing, how much you can spend on housing, and how much are you willing to spend on housing. Those are three different numbers: what you currently pay, the max you're willing to pay, and what you want to pay. Those are three different numbers, and those are three numbers that you should know. Because when you're shopping for a home or shopping for a rental or whatever it is, you need to know the max your budget will allow you to spend. So I have a free budget template. If you're listening to this, you can't see this, but it is on my YouTube and it is on my Instagram as well at Megan Wentland. If you click the link in my bio or scan this QR code, there's a free budget template, but there's all kinds, you guys. If you go on Pinterest, Etsy, Canva, wherever you go, you can find a budget template to get started for free. You don't have to pay for this big fancy budget envelope, whatever system that you have. Don't pay for that. On the screen right now, I'm just sharing what mine looks like, and it's just a place to start. Everybody's budget is going to look different, but it's just a place to start. So a sample budget, let's say you have $6,000 a month in income, and our ideal goal and spend, in my opinion, housing, you want to keep it as close to 35% as possible of your income or less. Some financial advisors will say 28%. I mean, all the numbers are different. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just what I think would be in the comfort zone, for somebody purchasing a home. So that comes out to about $2,100 a month on housing. Your transportation or your vehicles, to me should be no more than 15% of your income. That's about $900 a month. And then savings, this is just, again, an estimate. Your situation might look different, should be about $600 a month. And that leaves you with, that's $3,600 a month. So that leaves you with $2,400 for miscellaneous spending, you know, the groceries, the cell phone, the utilities, that sort of thing. So in my opinion, that is a more realistic budget of, you know, what an average person making $6,000 a month would look like. So if you have questions on budgeting, or you don't know where to start, or you're like, I want to start saving for a house, I have all kinds of financial advisors, accountants, you know, real estate agents, people I work with that I can recommend to help you. But ultimately, follow these steps, create your budget, and you're going to be off to a fantastic start. I wish they taught this in school. It's unfortunate that they don't. But again, I'm here to help with all of your budget needs, or at least give you some advice. Take it for what it's worth. I'm a loan officer. I'm not a financial advisor. I just know, I always say I know enough to be dangerous. So thank you for listening today, especially if you are younger and just getting started in the you know, home buying game, or in the saving and investing game. You want to start as young as possible, but I will also encourage you, it's never too late to start. So please just start, even if you're 50 or if you're 15, it doesn't matter. Please just get started and reach out to me with any questions. Thanks for listening. Cheers.